since we last spoke, Earth was hit by the 6th most powerful earthquake ever recorded, triggering tsunami warnings around the world. Joey Swole is now in a racism scandal that spiraled so bad he said that he's done with social media. New York City had a mass you-know-what. 4 men are rowing across the Atlantic Ocean. And if you are anything other than white, you are not welcome in this new community being built in America. All of that and so much more. Subscribe to the channel if you like the look of the person staring back at you right now. Not sure if that worked. It's supposed to be black, reflect. Anyway, let's stop the literal yapping and let's get cracking! Okay, starting off, we'd like you to shut the hell up about the haircut, okay? I know, I was trying something new.
Mattingly, get rid of those sideburns.
What sideburns?
You heard me, hippie.
I don't know what it is about it. I feel like something about, I don't know.
For the last time, get rid of those sideburns.
Look, Mr. Burns, I don't know what you think sideburns are, but...
Don't argue with me, just get rid of them.
Point is, be kind, okay? This is what we do in the spirit of experimentation, okay? Let's talk about some real news.
I thought I told you to trim those sideburns. Go home. You're off the team for good.
Starting with the obvious one. Holy, boys and girls. We just made history today. The 6th most powerful earthquake we have ever recorded on planet Blue Earth. And it hit off the coast of Russia. It measured a staggering 8.8 and released the equivalent energy of 1 trillion kgs of TNT. I don't even know how many atomic bombs that would be the equivalent of. But also, because of where it hit in the Pacific Rim, so many countries started panicking, and rightly so. The countries that issued either a tsunami evacuation, a tsunami warning, or advisory include, ready? Japan, Peru, Ecuador, China, Russia, the Philippines, Indonesia, Canada, and the US in states like Hawaii, California, Oregon, Washington, and Alaska. And there's probably more I'm missing out on. And so everyone's kind of wondering, who's it gonna rock first? So experts came out and said, given its location, they said that what happens in Hawaii will kind of be a test for the tsunami impacts of other countries in that Pacific Rim. And so Hawaii did not play around. They locked in. They evacuated commercial harbors, telling everyone, take your boats out and leave. They shut off the water supplies. You couldn't even flush the toilets in certain areas out of abundance of caution. They opened emergency shelters. They ordered the immediate evacuation of large parts of the island of Oahu and also the capital, Honolulu. But there's always some, isn't there? This would be probably Alex. A couple of fishermen could be seen joking around while police were trying to get them the hell out. And then another guy, he decided to go surfing and catch the literal biggest wave of his life. Now, talking about waves, luckily, the waves hitting the island as of recording in Hawaii, not as bad as we expected. We're looking at the range of between 4 and 6 feet. Hawaii's governor said they've not seen a wave of consequence so far, but the situation is still ongoing, I must say. And also, it's very similar for what happened in Japan as well. Now, they, as you know, always have to keep their head on a swivel. This shit happens almost every day to them. And so, 1.9 million people across the country were urged to move to safer ground. And fortunately, the waves over there were only about 4 foot. So, pretty, not doing lasting damage. Russia, however, because it was closest to them, their little Kamchatka Peninsula, they weren't as lucky, but they were still lucky. Videos show people inside their homes where you can see pretty intense shaking and causing stuff to fall off shelves. Outside, we saw people crouching on the ground while the cars were shaking, windows were smashing, and the building sustained a little bit of damage. Most of the more significant damage actually came from the tsunami waves. Certain coastal towns were hit with about 4 meters of waves, and a few people were injured. We don't have any casualties, though. But authorities say that we're not out of the woods yet. They say that aftershocks could last up to a month. Now, the tsunami waves have started to hit and build on the coast of California, but as of recording, nothing too serious. And as for the other 9+ countries that we talked about, well, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe the waves are still making their way over. Maybe they just got couple trickles. But just so you understand like how an earthquake like this ripples out, this is a visualization of the waves that were created by the devastating 9.0 magnitude earthquake that hit Japan in 2011. Fortunately, so far, and you keep my fingers crossed, this doesn't seem as bad as that. But on the brighter side, there's always silver linings. Considering that this was the 6th most powerful earthquake on record, as of recording, there hasn't been a single death. That is something to celebrate. Come on. I very, very much hope that this video ages well and nothing changes. Moving on. Okay, breaking news. It didn't age very well. In fact, since recording, keep in mind, on the exact same day, Shanghai in China is now evacuating 280,000 people because a powerful typhoon is heading there. It's cancelled flights and ferry services. It's imposed speed limits on roads and railways, and it's triggered the 2nd highest storm alert warning. Then, doesn't stop there, over in Russia again, a volcano has just erupted. Yeah, choose your natural disaster today. You got it. Coming to you very soon. They don't want us to see August. No, they don't. Crazy part is that this volcano is also in the same Kamchatka Peninsula where this morning's earthquake took place. And they're either linked or it's a very, very bad day. But still no deaths recorded. So I'm taking the W. I hope this update ages well. Back to the video. Also, since we last spoke, fitness content creator Joey Swole. I'm sure you've seen him. He does the videos, calling people out for their, bad behavior at the gym. Well, he's been getting so much backlash over the last few days for a comment that he made on a TikTok live that he said he is done with social media. And keep in mind, this has got to be bad because he doesn't just have a couple followers. He's got over 8 million on TikTok and over 5 million on Instagram. So for him to say he's done, it's got to be pretty bad, right? Well, let me give you the context. Hulk Hogan, as you guys know, recently passed away. And so I guess to honor him, Joey reposted a video that he made back in 2020 where he dressed up as Hogan for Halloween. Now, of course, that video by itself got some backlash because people were pointing out in the comments that Hogan has said multiple racist things throughout his life, and it ultimately even led him to getting fired from the WWE. I did a whole video on this on TikTok, so if you want more context to the whole Hogan racism scandals, go watch that on TikTok. Won't rehash it all here. But basically, instead of Joey saying, fair enough, what he said and did was horrendous and whatever else, he ended up actually defending Hulk Hogan and saying on TikTok Live as well, where you don't really have time to, formulate your thoughts. He said things like, we're all human, we make mistakes, that Hogan apologized, but then he drops this.
Listen, I can post Hulk Hogan if I want to. Just because somebody makes a mistake in their life doesn't mean that they haven't done good things. I don't know what he did, and he said something 20 years ago and apologized for it. If you're gonna attack me, you better go after the colored athletes and the people that are black and minority that went and posted him as well.
Yeah, so in the process of defending someone that has made racist comments before, he then uses the word colored. So, unsurprisingly, this triggered a whole tsunami, no pun intended, of not just comments, but creators as well on TikTok making videos just adding fuel to the whole fire, and this thing has exploded.
Your favorite fitness influencer is out here using the phrase colored people in the big year 2025, then y'all better go ahead and find a new favorite fitness influencer.
It's a mistake. People make mistakes. I mean, what's a few N-words amongst friends? What's a few slurs amongst friends, huh? It's a mistake, am I right? Come on, guy.
Joey Swole getting canceled brings my heart joy because I like to see people who have built a career off of low-risk, pandery finger-wagging get absolutely obliterated by their own audience.
Now, since then, Joey has apologized. He said that he didn't mean colored in any bad way. He should have said people of color. And then he released a whole apology video, and he said this.
I owe my followers, my community, and all of social media an apology. I used the word colored instead of saying person of color, which is a very outdated, very offensive term. And I promise all of you, I will do better. I have nothing but love and kindness in my heart. I will continue to try to make the world a better place. And once again, to everybody, I apologize.
But it looks like even that wasn't well received, because he then posted a follow-up on his story saying, all the good I've done, all the people that I've helped, all for nothing. When I need help, when I need kindness and compassion, nothing. But no matter how much good you do, no matter how many people you help, they just wait for a reason to hate you and tear you down. It's true, you either die a hero or live long enough to be the villain. Thank you for all of your support. I love you all. I am done with social media. Does that mean he's quitting making videos? Does that mean he's like, I'm done with this situation kind of vibe? I don't know. I guess we gotta wait and see. But what do you guys think? Do you think that people are fair enough in being angry at Joey for how he handled this whole situation? Or are people blowing it out of proportion? Let me know your thoughts, but moving on. Also, this week, there was a mass shooting in New York City where the gunman left a suicide note asking for his brain to be studied. Yeah. Pretty strange. So, on Tuesday, 4 people were killed, including a police officer, after a man, now identified as 27-year-old Shane Devon Tamora, walked into the lobby of the Blackstone building in Midtown Manhattan and started opening fire with a semi-automatic rifle. He then took the elevator to the 33rd floor, where he shot himself in the chest before police could arrest him. Now, we don't know what the significance of the 33rd floor was. It could be a mistake. It could have been something else. We don't know yet. I'll keep you updated on that. Now, authorities say that he did have a documented mental health history, but that he was licensed to carry a firearm in Las Vegas, where he lived. But here's where things get crazy, because law enforcement sources say that according to the papers found on his body, they indicate that he was there for the NFL. He had grievances with them. In fact, the Blackstone building that he targeted houses the NFL's headquarters, and that is on the 5th floor. And one of the victims, who was being treated for pretty serious injuries, he is also an NFL employee. Now, CNN report that Tamora was found with a note in his back pocket, and he said, Terry Long football gave me CTE and it caused me to drink a gallon of antifreeze. You can't go against the NFL, they'll squash you. And then ended it with, study my brain please, I'm sorry, tell Rick I'm sorry for everything. Now, for those who don't know, CTE is a Alzheimer's-like brain disease, which is linked to head trauma and most associated with football players. Now, police have since searched his car and they found a revolver, ammunition, magazines, some prescribed medication, but luckily they didn't find anything else like explosives, and they're still investigating the motive as of recording, so hopefully I can update you on that Friday. But moving on. Okay, if you are black, brown, gay, Muslim, or Jewish, you are not welcome here. That's because this is a new whites-only community being built in America, and they call themselves Return to the Land. And if you don't hold what they consider traditional views or have European ancestries, then yeah, you can't enter. Now, this settlement is based in the secluded Ozark Mountains of Arkansas, and the founders call it an international community based on shared ancestry, and that they are simply preserving their culture. Not only that, but they also claim that this is not bringing back segregation, that this is merely free association, and that they have the right to control whoever their neighbors are. The men in this community are expected to work hard in leveling ground and building barns and things of that nature, while the women's duties are basically to cook, look after the kids, all the traditional values that they were talking about. And because Return to the Land aims to promote strong families with common ancestry, they're even offering cash rewards to couples who have kids. And while this community only has about 40 people currently living there, they apparently have hundreds of paying members from around the world. Not really sure what they're paying for exactly. They also apparently want to build more communities like this across America and even in other countries too, with currently 3 more in progress coming to a woods near you. But if you thought that was wild, just wait till you hear this. In a recent interview, the leader of Return to the Land, Eric Orwell, described Adolf Hitler as merely a controversial figure that the mainstream view of is one-sided. So yeah, at this point you're probably wondering, how is this even legal? Well, it actually isn't. Probably. Maybe. You see, this is where it gets a little bit confusing, because the community, who have apparently invested tens of thousands of dollars in legal research, they say that they've set this up as a private club. And so because of that, they are exempt from equality legislation. However, other legal experts disagree. In fact, the Attorney General of Arkansas recently said he wasn't even aware that this was going on, but now that he is, his team are now reviewing the matter. So basically, this community is yet to be tested legally in court. So I'm sure it will at some point. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Should this be allowed? Should this not be allowed? let me know. Moving on. And then, for our last story of BWO Wednesday, everyone needs to know what the hell these guys are doing, because it is insane. A group of 4 men are attempting to freaking row all the way from New York back to the UK. And let me tell you, it sounds freaking horrible! Here's just a little taster. For the last month, they've been rowing 12 hours a day and only sleeping in intervals of 3 hours each. And when they do sleep, the boat is violently rocking back and forth, and they have to lie in such tiny, cramped spaces that one of the beds is called the coffin. They've been battered by weather of both extremes, from 35-degree heat to freezing temperatures in storms and torrential rains. They've been smashed by 6-meter swells of waves. Their boat was hit by a freaking cyclone. And they even apparently capsized at one point, where they lost their navigation system to water damage. So now they're just using the good old stars and a compass for direction. Bro, they even lost their speaker. So now they're just rowing in endless silence. Hopefully they've got AirPods, my lord. I mean, if they don't, may I suggest a sea shanty or two? Alex sounds like the kind of guy that would love a sea shanty. Is this true? I've never asked you the question, but I can guarantee he does. But I guess the ultimate question hearing all of this is why? Why put yourself in this situation where you have to balance over a freaking sharp bucket every morning to do a number 2 in front of 3 grown men? Well, the reason for that being is that earlier this year, one of the rowers' closest friends, who is a former Royal Marine, well, tragically, he took his own life. And so now the group of friends are trying to raise money for charity that helps mental health awareness among veterans and armed forces. And guess what? In this process, they've actually already smashed a world record for the furthest distance ever rowed in 24 hours. That is 140 nautical miles. I think they've got like 900 miles left, so as they get closer to their destination, I will keep you updated. But that is our end destination for this video. It's a wrap. Hope you guys are having a fantastic beginning of the week. Hope you're not being hit by any tsunamis right now. I will see you all on Friday, the last. I love a good Friday. See you then. Love you. Subscribe to the channel. Woo! BWO Wednesday is a wrap.